guys, look at this pretty interesting thing in my left hand. I mean, doesn't it just look amazing? I mean, it's so cool and so vivid. Oh man, look at it. Don't you guys love what this thing is in my left hand that you could clearly see on the screen right now? Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy here with the first anime review for the month of October, and that is on the anime Tokyo Ghoul. So the story of Tokyo Ghoul takes place in a world where there are humans and these human-like beings, basically the mutants of this world, a la X-Men, known simply as ghouls, who are these beings with extraordinary superhuman abilities and can only eat the flesh of humans and are hunted down mercilessly by a division of the government known as CCG. And we follow Kaneki Kent, an average, passive, and frail college student who, after surviving a ghoul attack from a woman named Rise, is given her organs and becomes half human, half ghoul, a rarity in this world. And from here, Kaneki learns more about ghoul society and their customs and their ways, but also struggles with his new ghoul identity while also trying to keep his humanity intact. Now, you all unanimously voted for this anime to be one of the animes that I reviewed for the month of October, with a grand total of 363 votes, making it the highest voted anime in any poll so far. That is a huge ass number, man. I thank you guys for voting. So after seeing that high of a vote count, needless to say, it got me pretty damn curious to watch Tokyo Ghoul and to see whether or not it's as good as people were saying it was. So I finally watched and finished the anime, and after seeing it, I gotta say, I found the anime pretty interesting. I really enjoyed watching it, although it really left a lot unexplored. I really felt like this season was more of an establishing season, kind of like establishing the characters, the setting, the story, but it left a whole lot of details unexplored. And yes, before any of you say it, I know they just announced that they are making a second season that's coming out in January 2015. I know that, but still, they could have explored a little bit more in this season, but for overall, I did enjoy it. So what elements in this anime did I really like? Well, first off, and again, the most obvious, it's like clockwork with this thing, but it still has to be mentioned and given some credit. The animation is very solid in this anime. The backgrounds are well done. I love the shift of color tones throughout the anime. Sometimes it can be dark and bleak and ominous, and then it can be very bright and vivid, especially when the ghouls are using their super abilities with their special powers. It looked really cool, really vivid. I loved the way that it looked, and I just love the character designs of not only just the human characters but the ghouls themselves. I mean, they looked pretty badass and pretty ominous, especially with their black eyes and red pupils. Like, if I saw them in a dark alley, I would shit my pants. Like, I would be like, I'm fucked. I'm dead. I'm dead. And again, going hand in hand with the animation, the action scenes are pretty intense and really well done. Although a majority of the action scenes are a bit short, they could have extended some of these fight scenes and make them more grander and epic in scale. The opening theme fits the anime perfectly. It is a great song that sets the tone and feel for the entire anime. And as I was listening to the song, I got this whole feeling of like alienation or being cut off from the world or feeling misunderstood, which I'm guessing is what the ghoul characters in the anime feel like, feeling alienated in human society, not being able to fit in, feeling cut off from the world or misunderstood by people and getting hunted down, which really makes you empathize with the ghoul characters in this anime. Damn, a song did that. The concept and story, although not that wholly original, it's basically the same as the X-Men, but instead of mutants, they're ghouls, is still pretty interesting and has a whole lot of potential. I mean, it's a world of humans and ghouls living side by side, and some humans know about ghouls, others don't, and the ghouls have to hide their identity again, similar to X-Men, and they're being hunted down by the government, and they have their own secret societies, ways, their own customs, their own factions. It's very interesting, and I would love to know more about this world and about the different characters and the story in general. This anime doesn't fail to pique the audience interest in the story. After seeing one episode, I just wanted to see more. I wanted to know more about this world and everything. The characters, much like the story and concept, were very interesting. The only problem is that most of them lacked any development, which is really sad because I did want to know more about these characters because I found them very interesting. I was very curious about them. And although they did lack development, I still came to like most of them. The few characters that really stood out to me and that I really liked in this anime was, first off, Kanaki's best friend Hide. This guy is just a true, genuine friend to Kanaki. Always supportive, always there, always trying to understand and making sure that his best friend is doing okay. Man, this guy is just freaking awesome. I wish that he was in the anime more. That's the only sad part about his character. He does show up now and again, but he's not really in it as much. But whenever he is there, I mean, he's really cool. He's very quirky. He's kind of funny at times. And he just deeply cares about Kaneki. I respect that. Another interesting character was Amon, one of the investigators from CCG, and we kind of do get a little glimpse into his backstory to see how he became the man that he is, and he's pretty badass. He's one of the coolest characters in the entire anime, but again, I would have loved to know more about his character, and I wish they fleshed him out a little bit more, but overall, he's pretty cool. And the last character that really stood out in this anime to me was, of course, our main character, Kaneki. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw this character, I freaking hated him because he felt like another Shinji copycat. This very passive, indecisive, very naive character who has very low self-esteem and just doesn't believe in himself and feels like he's completely useless. I mean, god damn it, do I need another Shinji in my life? But as the series progressed, I kind of got a deeper understanding of the character. Seeing him struggle to balance his humanity and his ghoul instincts, I thought was pretty interesting. And by the end of the anime, he does go through a metamorphosis that was handled pretty well, and I would love to see where they take his character in the next season. And the last thing that I liked and appreciated about this anime was the last episode. Wow. I was left speechless by what I saw. I mean, this might have not been a horror anime, but that last episode, talk about a visceral experience. I was feeling every single thing that the main character was feeling. I mean, you talk about pure terror. You talk about unnerving. That is the entire last episode. My God, it was intense. It is without a doubt one of the most sadistic and unforgettable moments in the entire anime that I will not soon forget. But as much as I enjoyed many facets to this anime, I did have a few major problems with it. Now, keep this in mind. As I mentioned earlier, I know that they announced that they are making a second season to this anime. So many of the problems that I mentioned in this video just might be fixed in the second season. But that doesn't change the fact that they are still major problems and glaring mistakes here in the first season. Just because they're making a second season does not mean that they get a pass on any mistakes that they made in the first season. The biggest and most glaring problem with this entire anime was the complete lack of exploration on everything. From the characters, to the story, to the relationships, to how the ghouls came about, how they got their powers, how they're able to regenerate, how does one become a ghoul, where did the CCG come from, how did they form? Everything, all the details that were needed in the anime were never explored. It pulls a Noragami and makes the anime feel half finished. Like there's still much more to be explored, yet they don't put in the effort to explore all these various elements that we find interesting and we're so curious about. We want to know more. And going hand in hand with that last problem, most of the characters and their relationships in this anime have little to no development given to them. The few offenders of this is, first off, Rise. They make her out to be like this incredible ghoul character. Like, she's like the most wanted ghoul on the face of the earth. Like, everybody is just looking for this girl, but they never really explain why they're looking for her. Why is she so important? Why does she matter compared to all the thousands upon thousands of ghouls out in the city? Why is she the most important? They never once say why. Not only that, but you don't really know much about her character. The only thing that I know about this character is she's kind of like a seductress, like an enchantress that kind of lures guys in and then she attacks them violently and eats them. That's the only thing I really know about the girl, and she's a freaking tease to every person that she meets. That's it. Anything else? I have no idea. Another character that was sorely lacking in development was Toka. Now, Toka was actually a very interesting character. I wanted to know more about her, and they do delve into her past and kind of her personality here and there in the anime, but it just wasn't enough for me to really stick to this character and be invested in her. And her relationship with Kaneki, it was non-existent. I never felt a bond between them. Whether it was a romantic bond or just a platonic bond, I didn't feel a connection between the two. It was poorly done. And the last character that was sorely lacking in development, and this one hurt the most, was this character, Mado. When I first saw this character in the anime, he just came off as a stereotypical one-dimensional villain who just loved hunting ghouls and was just so sadistic and mean-spirited. Like, he was just a complete asshole that had no redeeming qualities to him. But when I read more about this character while researching this anime, I learned a bit more about his backstory and as to why he acts the way that he does. And I was like, where was that in the entire anime? It would have been nice to know that he wasn't the one-dimensional creep that I thought he was. The anime does its damnedest to portray him as this terrible individual, yet he's more than that. He's actually a three-dimensional character that has a purpose, but it's never really explored in the anime. It's kind of hinted at very, very subtly, but that's it. You don't really get much more exploration or even understanding about this character, and that hurts because he is a really interesting character. If you've read the manga or the light novel or whatever, or even looked this character up, he has a very interesting, albeit tragic, backstory that really explains and delves into his character. And the last problem that I had with this anime was, of course, its cliffhanger ending. Now, that's not to say that I didn't like the last episode. In fact, I would argue that the last episode was the best episode in the entire season and was really well done. But it leaves on a sour note where a lot of things are unresolved and left unfinished. There were a multitude of fight scenes that were about to happen, that were about to unfold, that we never got to see completed or even begin. It just leaves on a note to where the characters are still fighting. You don't know if they're gonna get out of this situation alive. Everything is still hanging up in the air. And yes, I know, they're making a second season, so maybe in the first episode, they might actually complete this entire scene and have them all fighting. But I swear to God, if the first episode does not clear up what happened at the end of the first season, I'm going to flip shit. I will flip. I'm gonna get so fucking angry, guys. No lie. And yeah, just like many of you guys, I do have one glaring nitpick with the anime. But it's not really the anime's fault for this. It's more or less the TV studio's fault for this. But there is a lot of censorship in this anime. I mean, to the point where you can't even see what's on the screen anymore. I mean, it looks like this, guys. You can barely see me right now because I censored this entire scenario. It's like that in the anime. It was really bothersome, and sometimes I was just wondering, like, what were they censoring? What did it look like? I wanted to see it. But overall, besides its few glaring problems, the anime still is very interesting and has a lot of potential. There's a lot to work with in this anime, and the fact that they are making a second season means that the creators, the producers understand that this anime does have a lot of potential to go places. And it's because of that I'm going to give this anime a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I found it to be a very enjoyable anime, and I cannot wait to see the second season and see where the characters will go next. But anyway, what did you guys think of this anime? Did you really enjoy it? Did you get a kick out of it? Or were you left unsatisfied and you wanted to see more but they never delivered? And let me know, what is the most intense moment you've ever seen in any anime? Like just a visceral experience that left you unnerved and shaken. Comment below and let me know. And until the next video comes, guys, if you would like to be a part of the Black Critic crew, hit that subscribe button, like this video if you really enjoyed it, and I'm Tony Wally II, the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.